As dawn breaks in James Gunn's DCU, the Man of Tomorrow rises to new heights unlike ever before. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Superman swoops in with a message of hope and old-fashioned kindness in a world where both are taken as signs of weakness. However, with the larger-than-life shadow of the Snyderverse looming over DC, David Corenswet's hero doesn't look like he's making much progress. Despite attempting to start anew, the lingering influences of Zack Snyder's extended universe seem to have made a mark on DCU's new Superman. The Superman teaser trailer begins like any great comic adaptation, with a moment of weakness from the hero right before he begins his ascent to greatness. With the Yamcha pose, that signifies defeat after a great battle, in the opening shot, James Gunn establishes the grueling tone of his film and introduces a bloody and battered hero who is not all that invincible. The shadow of scandal that colored Zack Snyder's DCU and made a pariah out of the Kryptonian superhero has breached James Gunn's new universe. After all that controversy, struggle, and anticipation, Superman goes right back to where he started. And nothing can convince the audience otherwise. Although painted in all the right shades of blue, red, and yellow, David Corenswet's Superman rises to the occasion only to fall in the eyes of the people, bleed for them, and be stoned for his actions as a god among men. As the Superman trailer depicts, Gunn's Kryptonian superhero seems to be a reimagined iteration of Henry Cavill's Man of Steel from the former DCU. However, Gunn's work comes at a price. His Superman, although containing all the elements required of a hero who is a beacon of light, hope, and optimism, fails to let go of the more psychologically darker allure of his predecessor. Despite attempting to start anew, the lingering influences of Zack Snyder's extended universe seem to have made a mark on the new DCU. Henry Cavill's Man of Steel fought, killed, died, and was resurrected, all the while staving off mobs of fanatics around the world who either wanted him to be their new god or burn him at the stake. The imagery of the false god was made iconic by Zack Snyder in Batman v Superman, something that is once again repeated in James Gunn's Superman. Over the past decade, the Snyderverse established a grim dark reality where corruption and hatred ruled supreme. Man of Steel began the journey of a morally complex superhero, and Dawn of Justice stripped him down to a false god. While James Gunn promises to do right by Superman this time around, the plot of the film seems eerily familiar to what Snyder's DC once depicted. Gunn's new film is not all about bright colors, uplifting music, and cats and girls being saved. There are moments of panic and darkness that seep in between the sunlit cinematography of the movie. Doubts are cast and fingers are pointed as Superman walks through a mob of critics and haters. Flags are raised in his name and prayers are sent to the skies above in the hopes of being saved by the man from the stars. However, this is where it gets a bit repetitive. One could argue that Zack Snyder has already tried the same with his Man of Steel in the contentious DCU trilogy, and unless James Gunn has planted these scenes as a misdirection or a dream sequence, no amount of logic and rationality can separate Gunn's new film from the version that was depicted in Snyderverse. Donald Trump's tariff increase could kill James Gunn's plans for the DCU, including his upcoming film Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Donald Trump comes for the movie industry this time, announcing a 100% tariff on movies being produced outside of the United States. In his announcement via Truth Social, President Trump shared that his new move intends to save the dying movie industry in the U.S. James Gunn's DCU is going to face major trouble after Donald Trump announced a 100% tariff for movies produced outside of the United States. Trump's tariff is intended to save the movie industry in America. But movie studios won't be happy with the new announcement, as some of the major productions are currently operating outside of the U.S. While Gunn's Superman production primarily took place at Trilla Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, the DCU is planning to move to the UK for its upcoming films. For instance, the next film in the DCU roster, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, is currently in production at the Warner Brothers studio Leavesden in Hertfordshire. Trump's new tariff policies, though unclear on many aspects, are already posing a major concern for movie studios. All the big studios producing movies have branches outside of the United States. Due to the exorbitant movie-making costs in the country, most of them prefer to take their production outside the country. Warner Brothers Studios will also be impacted by the new tariff policies, with the studio helming some major projects, including James Gunn's DCU films. While his current Superman film is being produced in America, The studio was planning to shift its entire production to the UK in the next couple of years. He even went on to claim that the movies being produced outside the country is a threat to national security. He ordered the Department of Commerce and the U.S. Trade Representative to impose a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. He added, "We want movies made in America, again." Supergirl will be the first film in the DCU roster to be directly affected if Trump were to continue his tariffs. Gunn earlier announced the news of cameras rolling for the film at Warner Bros. Studios' Leavesden. The studio in Hertfordshire was set to be the home of not just Supergirl, but also some of the other films in the DCU. Donald Trump might have gotten it all wrong about saving the movie industry. The primary reason for the film studios to produce films outside of the country is the tax incentives and reduced cost in countries like the UK, which the US fails to provide. An added tariff will only be another huge monetary pressure on the studios. Supergirl will star House of the Dragon star Millie Alcock in the lead role, alongside Jason Momoa as Lobo and Matthias Schoenaerts as Krem of the Yellow Hills. Craig Gillespie is directing the film, which is set to be released in June 2026. Notably, the Leavesden studio was also home to Warner Bros.' biggest hit of 2023, Barbie. Another major project currently set to be held at the studio is the Harry Potter series. We will have to see if Supergirl will have to leave the UK to save itself from the 100% tariffs. There's the possibility that Trump will revisit his decision in a couple of weeks. My Hero Academia. Vigilante's Knuckledusters' brutal heroism channels DC's Midnighter's fierce energy and gritty vigilante vibes. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. So, Knuckleduster, Iwao Aguro, this man is a legend. He has no quirk, just a pair of brass knuckles, oozing that badass aura. Pretty cool how he feels like Batman, mentoring Koichi. He patrols at night, but he is not with stellar gadgets or rules against killing someone. My Hero Academia. Vigilantes has those different vibes that just hit you differently. It has a raw feel, and there's a character who steals the show, Knuckleduster. He has no quirk, just pure grit, and beats up villains like it's personal. His character carries that Batman aura, like he is on the streets eradicating crime, but much more savage. But to be more specific, Knuckleduster kinda reminds me of Midnighter, who is often seen as the gay Batman. He is a true badass hero from DC, who takes no prisoners. Even though Knuckleduster and Midnighter are from different universes, they share some similarities, like they're powerful characters that excel in close-quarters combat. In contrast to Batman's methodical fighting style, you can see their enjoyment in combat and chaos. If anything, I would say Knuckleduster leans into knockout since Gotham's Dark Knight would never cross so many lines. While Knuckleduster is just brawling, literally smashing up villains,